My story. Pablo Kelly from the UK. Inoperable brain tumor. He declined chemo and radiotherapies, decided on keto. Pablo Kelly with Dr. Shawn Baker.
Prior to meeting my partner, who we're having our second baby soon, like less than 2 weeks, I was I was addicted to smoking, cannabis, eating fast food, whatever, just being lazy generally. But I managed to, at some point, I just got depressed and I decided to sort my life out, basically. Start to love myself, respect my body a bit more, thought more about what I wanted from the future. And then unfortunately, I met my partner. So we started doing things. We thought organic food was the way to go, vegetables, all that stuff. So about a year and a half into our relationship, I started to get headaches like constantly. At one point, I had a sensation where just like my neck clicked, and I started to feel the sensation that I was spinning around. I had migraines, and I went to my doctor and I said, "What could this be?" And he said, "It's migraine auras."
Migraine Aura. A chemical or visual wave that moves across the visual cortex of your brain. It can cause visual hallucinations. Mayo Clinic.
And then the same situation. I was working. I was kind of walking somewhere. I had to run to get out of the way of traffic, and then I had the neck click. But this time, I thought I had a stroke. So my left side drooped, my arm went limp, my jaw sagged, which are all signs of a stroke. And I was like, I'm only 20, 22, 23 years old, and I'm having a stroke. And so I went to my doctor and I said, I want to request a CT scan because everything I look up on the internet is saying is probably something wrong with your brain. So I went for the CT scan, and at that point in time, they only saw a little hazy patch, and they said, "Oh no, you're fine. It's just migraine auras." And then actually 2 weeks after that, they called me up and said, "You need to come in for an MRI with contrast because we think there might be some sort of mass in your head." So I had the biopsy, and then I was diagnosed in September 2014 with a glioblastoma multiforme, grade 4, highest grade tumor, incurable. And I went through the motions. They said, chemotherapy, radiotherapy. That's the course of action. There's no other treatment options, basically, which I believed at the time. Went home, and then they arranged all the stuff. I thought I was going for a meeting with my oncologist one day. It turns out that I was actually there to have the radiotherapy mask fitted to my face. I had the mask fitted to my face, molded to my face. I went to lie down on the table, fixed to the table. They lasered me up. And I just felt really, the pang of fear in your guts, like when something's wrong and that you shouldn't do what you're doing. I felt that, and I said, I need to call my oncologist because I'm not sure I want to do this. So I spoke to her and I asked some very pertinent questions. I said, is this going to help me? Is this going to give me a long life? I want longevity. I want to live a very long time. I don't want to just die feeling sick. So I said, what do I need to do? What do you think about the ketogenic diet? She said, I don't think it's that effective. There's no study suggesting it's going to work for you. And she said, with chemotherapy and radiotherapy, your life expectancy is 12 to 15 months. And that's kind of the estimated, the maximum survival. And I said, well, what about without? And she said, because you're fairly healthy, 6 to 9 months without. And she said, you might become impotent with chemotherapy. You might lose your hair. All these side effects. And I was like, well, my background was homeopathy and vegetarian food and just spirituality and just kind of awareness and stuff. So I just said, I think I'm going to take my chances with a ketogenic diet. I just said that. I didn't confer with any of my family. I just said, right, this is my instinct kicking in. I've got to do something for myself. I've got to live. So I went to the ketogenic diet. I spoke to someone called Patricia Daly. Don't know, you might have heard of her. She's a ketogenic diet advocate. She had some form of a kind of mass behind her eyeball. So she said, try a restricted calorie ketogenic diet.
Patricia Daly, registered nutritional therapist at patriciadaly.com, part of the European Keto Live Center, co-author of the book, The Ketogenic Kitchen.
So I was on 2,000 calories a day. Restricting my calories, less than 20 grams of carbs a day for about 3 years. And I spoke to Thomas Seyfried and he said, you want to hit that 1-to-1 ratio of ketones to glucose. I got into ketosis within the first week. I was seeing that 1-to-1 ratio. I was like smashing it. I did the ketogenic diets.
Dr. Thomas Seyfried, professor at Boston College, biologist. His research focus: mechanisms by which metabolic therapies manage chronic diseases like epilepsy, neurodegenerative lipid storage diseases, cancer.
I think it was about within the first 4 months, I got a stable scan result. So this was no treatment, nothing. It was an inoperable brain tumor, so they couldn't perform an operation. And I did that for, I think it was 3 years before suddenly like the tumor actually changed in some way or shape. And they said, we can operate on your inoperable tumor. I was like, great. So my ketogenic diet, taking supplements, has actually given me a longer life. And it's made an inoperable tumor operable, which is like a miracle.
Annotated and summarized, easy to share with loved ones. The description below the title for this video has these summary points.